I've got the paint on the brush, and all we're doing is little sort of like curved marks along the edge. It's to make it look as though the light is hitting and the tree's round. If you do it straight, then it'll just look as though this tree is flat. But if you do it curved, I'll show you on this what I'm doing. Okay, the technique is that. This is exaggerated, obviously, but that is the technique. Okay, so I get some more paint on my brush and carry on. Okay, I'll just zoom out again now so we can see everything I'm doing. I'll have to change the camera. There we are. Okay. There are times when you'll get a lot of paint on the actual bristles further up from the tip, so all you do is just wipe it off on your palette and get some more on your bristles, on the tips of the bristles rather. There we go. And again, it doesn't matter if you don't go to the main body of the tree. If you go slightly out, like there, for instance, there's a great big dip, you can see. If I wanted to straighten that out, I can do that now by doing that. Yeah. And Laddie's just looking at me as if to say, what are you telling me for? I'm not painting. Oh dear. So, now we carry on like this until we've done all the highlights of the tree. You don't need to do too much on the ones in the background because I'm not going to see them very much. You can do a few lines here and there. In other places in the leaves, because you're actually going to have branches, and watch where you're putting them as well. If you see a dip, like there for instance, where the tree goes up and then across slightly and then up again, you don't want it to go there. You have to try and picture where you think the light's going to hit, or where you have an idea of where the light's going to hit. And on the other side of a branch, the light isn't going to hit. Okay. And we're not too fussed about the distant trees, because, as I say, they are going to be, or the majority of them are going to be covered in foliage, but we do want to make it look as though there are more branches than there actually are shown. I mean, it's supposed to be a dense forest. I've only done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trees. I suppose a dense forest with a path running through it. By the time I've finished it will look as though there will be a lot more, and that's just by putting little marks like this on. As long as you can see them through the leaves that you put on. Okay, now we need shadow areas. Can't have light without shadow. And for that we need more black, Payne's grey. We need more brown Payne's grey, not more black and Payne's grey. Okay, so this is the shadow side of the trees. And this is the part where it's going to be, we're doing exactly the same thing but on the opposite side of the tree to where the highlights have just been put. And where you put a highlight, you put a shadow, as I say, on the opposite side. It gives that tree that look of being circular. And where you've missed when you're doing the highlight, the area you've not done with doing the highlights, you can put some shadow there as well. Like I was saying, places like that where there's a can make that look there because the light isn't actually getting there, and in here as well. Okay. But you don't want the two meeting in the middle. You want that medium, but you know, the first colour I put on, the base colour for the trees, you want that still showing in between the shadow and the light area. Again, you don't need to do much in the background. As I said, these trees are going to be hidden for the most part. Now, as you can see, I've not done that straight. I'll sort that out when I come to put the bushes on later. I've also not put any roots systems in here, because again, it can be sorted out when I do the bushes out later. So when we get covered, you're not going to see the roots. If you're not going to see them, don't put them in. We're painting a picture, so we're not making a model car. So we don't need to paint every little thing. When I say model car, model plane. Just because it's there doesn't mean to say it should be painted. We know there's roots there. That's all that matters. We know they're there, the tree knows they're there. could do in a second, because I'm feeling a little bit that way inclined, is, and you'll like this, I hope, that's across there. We're going to have a fallen tree. The original paint I used has dried up, so I won't have to use the mix a bit more. There. Okay, that's lost. Part of that is lost in the path background, never mind. Just blend that in. Oops. That's going to be a fairly dark colour anyway, because it's, otherwise you're going to be hitting it on the back, so it's going to be so it's going to be, also it's going to be in shadow, and I'm going to just put a touch of a shadow there. Why am I doing that? Because I just remembered that's the part where we're going to put in leaves over it. Okay. Here we go again. Okay. No, it's not quite pale enough. Think of the shape of the tree. Okay? Don't just put paint on and think, yeah, that'll do. Think of how the tree's going to look. That one is going to be slightly darker than this one. Oops. And that's, again, is why it's all a matter of where you think the legs are going to hit. leave a bit of dirt in between those, like when you're doing the bushes or leaves, you leave a little bit of the dirt colour. The dirt actually make it. It's not me. I'm not making things up. The dirt actually makes the picture. It gives you the depth. It makes you think what's behind there. Put different colours in. Put a few browns in. Red. Just make it all one colour. You see there? In all honesty, I've done this the wrong way around. I should have done the bushes first and then the trees, because now I'm having to work around trying to get the bushes to go behind the tree. I'm spending more time having to think about that than just slapping the paint on, hoping for the best. Now, do see how that works. Bit of yellow as it comes further towards you, make it a little bit stronger. There's a light zinging through there. I'm going to show you something else in a bit as well. Oops, it's a bit too solid. But at the moment it doesn't matter, because all I'm doing is trying to get usually find in fallen trees and logs moss growing. There we go. And because that's following a bit of a bend, that's receding into darkness and shadow, you don't need to do anything more there. And that one is bending down that way, so you would need to have the bright yellow colour going down that way, but as I say, tapering off that way. Now, as I said, I was going to show you something in a minute. Usually, you'll find either flowers or on the flowers in the grass, or something, or depending on what season of the season it is, you'll find flowers on bushes and shrubs and things like that. Well, let's bang some red flowers on some of these bushes. Excuse me. So, into the vermilion, we just need to, as per usual, break the bristles up and really chab it, and here and there. Don't want them everywhere. Just want them where the light is hitting. You don't want them to cover the yellow, you just want them and there we go. You can also do and taper that off, make it look a bit darker down there. Need a few more over here. If we decided to put grassy area on one side and shrubs on the other, you can still do the exact same thing, but if say for instance that was grass, instead of doing it like that in a great big arc, you just do it flat, or depending on how the land, how you've set the layout on. If you've done it on a slope, obviously you'd go that way. If it's flat, you'd go that way. If as it is, we've got what was I saying? We've got just like a path leading into darkness into the trees, and there we go. It's very basic painting. Nothing special about that. In the line of technique or detail, but as you can see, it looks as though you could just go for a walk in there. If you wanted to, you could put a couple of figures actually going for a walk in there. I'm just going to touch up here a bit more with green because it's looking a bit flat. But I'm not too sure about that log, to be brutally honest. What I'm going to have to do, I think, is lighten that top half because it doesn't look right. And get some brown and some white. And a spot of green. And we'll do the same technique we used for there we go. I hope that looks a little more like a fallen log. into that some more green. More Payne's grey. Okay, so I've got Payne's grey, I've got a bit of green. And we'll just do the opposite of what we did for the trees. I'll make it a lot darker down here. There we go. I hope you like that. If you did, please feel free to comment, rate and subscribe, and until we see you again, take care, God bless, and if you want to do try painting, enjoy yourself. See you soon. Bye for now.